Hello and welcome to another edition of your regular magazine of the movies, Let's Talk Criterion. In this edition, we'll be taking a look at a new title joining the collection, Captain Blood, the 1935 film directed by Michael Curtiz, coming to the collection on 4K UHD. Michael Curtiz is one of the most accomplished directors in Hollywood. He was a Hungarian-American director, and he directed films throughout the silent era, entering fully into the Hollywood studio system. He started working in Europe, and then he was invited to Hollywood in 1926, and there he helped Warner Brothers become the fastest growing studio at the time, directing 102 films during his long career. He always prepared meticulously all aspects of his filming before shooting, and he was responsible for directing the 1935 film Captain Blood, a project for First National and Warner Brothers Pictures, with Hal B. Wallace as executive producer. It starred Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, Basil Rathbone and Ross Alexander. The screenplay was penned by Casey Robinson, and it's based on the novel of the same name by Raphael Sabatini. And it tells the story of an imprisoned doctor and his fellow prisoners who escape a cruel island captivity to become West Indies pirates. It wasn't a massive box office success though, because Errol Flynn was relatively unknown at the time. But of course, the film made him a major Hollywood star and established him as the natural successor to Douglas Fairbanks. The film also catapulted Olivia de Havilland to stardom in just her fourth film appearance. Captain Blood is the story of an Anglo-Irish doctor who gets mixed up in the Monmouth Rebellion against King James II. He's been trying to stay neutral in an existing political conflict in England, treating wounded on both sides, but when the King's men find him tending to a rebel soldier's wounds, they imprison him with the rest, deporting the whole group of men to Jamaica, where they are to be sold into slavery in the sugar plantations and the sulphur mines. He quickly gets on the bad side of a wealthy plantation owner, Colonel Bishop, but Bishop's niece Arabella is impressed by his spunk and buys him herself, turning him over to her uncle to manage. Blood's medical expertise here also wins in favour with Jamaica's wimpy governor, who struggles regularly with gout. Now Bishop, however, still doesn't like this guy, but he can't do anything about it because of Blood's favour with the governor. So Bishop takes it out on his other slaves, which makes them all the more ready when Blood comes up with a scheme to escape by taking over the boat. The film takes pains to show us that Blood is a moral pirate, drawing up a very rigorous code of conduct and plan of business for himself and his crew, plunder being paid into a common fund with equal shares paid to all. Very diplomatic. Plus any extra one-time stipends paid out for injuries. Drunkenness during the battle is no, of course. Capturing women for lewd purposes is strictly forbidden. It's decent of him, of course, don't get me wrong, but a good several minutes is spent on a sequence spelling out his on-board code of conduct, and on a sequence showing the crew dutifully lining up for the share of the proceeds after a raid, which isn't exactly gripping. Now it does set things up though for a later plot twist after Blood has joined forces with the French pirate Levasseur. The pair have agreed to meet up at a deserted island, each taking different routes to get there, and they're going to divvy up whatever each crew may find en route. And when they meet back up, Blood is horrified to see that amongst Levasseur's cache of booty is Arabella. Without letting on he already knows her, of course, Blood gets into a sword fight with Levasseur for breaking contract. Now it's easy to see why this movie has made Errol Flynn a star. He's excellent in the role of the doctor turned slave turned parrot, and as Peter Blood he shows many different sides to his personality, even as he displays many different looks. Blood is an appropriate name here for both the vocation of a doctor and the calling of a parrot. Peter goes through many diverse adventures during the course of the film, but throughout he maintains enough principles, bravery and consideration for his fellows to remain a sympathetic character. He performs the swashbuckling and the action scenes with impressive flair. He also delivers the dialogue with great flair too, and with an effective British accent. His leading lady is Olivia de Havilland. She was made a star through this film. Her well-deserved fame's understandable, since she is emotional, deep and lovely in the role of Arabella Bishop. For most in the film, she's torn between her prejudice against his station, first as a slave and then as a parrot, and her personal admiration, of course, for him. She is a very sympathetic, kind young woman, and she loathes seeing men being bought and sold like animals. She later shields Peter from her uncle's harshness whenever it's possible. The romantic chemistry between Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland here is obvious, showing why they would have such a successful partnership. As the villain, we've Lionel Atwill playing Colonel Bishop. Now he's despicably evil, growing more and more harsh as time passes. Peter Blood has many friends among his fellow slaves, but his best friend is the navigator Jeremy Pitt, played in the film by Ross Alexander, a sensitive young man. The tormented Mr. Alexander gives an excellent emotional performance in this role. And of course we have Basil Rathbone, a very small but memorable role here as a French pirate captain, Levasseur. Now, his excellent swordsmanship, dashing bravura and suave French accent are very dramatic in the role. The costumes are also convincing for the era. Olivia de Havilland's gowns particularly are beautiful. And of course, we must admire the cinematography. I personally loved the use of shadows in the film. It was much fun and super creative. The battle and sword fight scenes were also perfectly shot with original cuts and framing to put you in the middle of the action. Did you know Captain Blood was nominated for Best Picture and Curtiz almost won for Best Director, just through write-in votes. So, not totally surprised by that. The movie is a little too long though, and the plot becomes quite garbled near the end. But who really cares? Sword fights, pirates, hats with feathers? Oh really? Do you honestly need a comprehensive plot with all that going on? And I know you don't, of course, because you went to see the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And I tell you what, Captain Blood's much better than that. Now it comes to the Criterion collection as a 4K UHD complete with a Blu-ray. The 4K UHD, of course, has the film itself, and the Blu-ray, the HD version of the film, and these special features. A new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed mono soundtrack. Audio commentary that features Alan K. Rode, the author of Michael Curtiz, A Life in Film. A documentary from 2005 on the making of the film. Lux Radio Theatre adaptation of the film from 1937, starring Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland and Basil Rathbone. We've a trailer, and as always we've an essay by the critic Farron Smith Name. And the new cover art on the disc is from David Talaski. The Spitfire chemistry between Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland in the first of their iconic pairings, the rousing naval battle finale, they all come together under the expert direction of Michael Curtiz to form an exemplar of classic film craftsmanship, sailing full speed ahead. Captain Blood has a running time of 119 minutes and it comes in a 1:37:1 aspect ratio, and it joins the Criterion collection in the US on Tuesday the 20th of January and in the UK on Monday the 26th of January, and it's spine 1297. In the next edition of Let's Talk Criterion, we'll be looking at another Criterion Premieres release. It's already premiered on the Criterion channel. It's Caught by the Tides, a visionary chronicle of China's turbulent new century from the director Ye Zhangke, coming to the collection on Blu-ray. So, until next time, from me, as always, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.